Hey, what's up guys? So today we're going to start modeling a house. First of all, we need to import the AutoCAD file that we did up previously in the last tutorial into 3D Studio Max. So what we can do is to download the AutoCAD file and then put it somewhere convenient, and then we can go to import. Okay, so for me, I have stored it in my D drive. So we just choose the file, and we can just use the default settings. Make sure that incoming file units is in millimeters. So now that we have imported the CAD file, we realize that we forgot to remove the line. Okay, so this line, previously we use it as a reference point to scale our picture. So let's just remove it so that later if there's any issue snapping, we don't have to worry about this line. So what we can do is can just select on the CAD drawing, go to the modifier tab and choose vertices or vertex. Then we just select on this line and just press delete. We also want to make sure that the CAD file is actually lying flat on the ground on the 00 plane. So what we want to do is we press alternate and middle mouse click just to make sure that it is lying on the ground. Okay, so I can see that it is flat here, so this is good. So I also want to make sure that it is at the 0, 0, 0 coordinate, so that it's easier to move things around, to plan ahead. So what I'll do is I'll use a top view. So we can either click on this button here, or I press the button T. Okay, so this will be a top view. Okay, we can see that our CAD drawing is actually not in the middle, so I just want to move it. So I can press move, and let's move it slightly to the middle here. We also want to make sure that snapping is turned on. Okay, and it is snapping to a vertex or vertex. Okay, so when you turn on the snapping to a vertex, I can actually snap to these points. So these are vertices. Okay, so this will make our tracing a lot easier. So make sure you go ahead and turn on the snapping. Okay, so now we are ready to start drawing the lines. Okay, what we can do is to use the shapes here. Okay, usually you start with a standard primitive, but we can choose shapes and then choose line. Okay, then because we have snapping turned on, all we have to do is just to trace this line and make sure that we touch every single vertices. Okay, make sure you close the spline and do the same thing for the other wall. Okay, so now we have line 1 and line 2, line 1 being the left wall, line 2 being the right wall. We want both of these walls to be in the same mesh. So what I can do is go to line 1 and then click on attach, and then click on line 2, so that this will just be one single mesh. So once we already have the line, what we can do is we can extrude the line to make it into a wall. So let's just choose extrude in the modifier list. Okay, and let's make a 5700 mm wall. Okay, so once you enter, you just press alternate and middle mouse, you can see that this is now a wall. So now we want to middle the inner walls in the top view again. We want to middle these two walls. Okay, so what I would suggest is for you to hide the outer walls while you trace this inner wall, because if you don't, what's going to happen is that sometimes it will snap to the wall instead of to your CAD drawing. Okay, so as you can see right here, this is actually snapping to the wall instead of to the CAD drawing. So we want to hide the wall so that it will actually be snapped onto your CAD drawing. So let's delete this and make sure we hide this wall. Okay, so that we can continue our snapping. So I won't go through the drawing here. You should already know how to draw, so let this be a challenge for you. I will stop this video and we'll come back in the next portion where the inner walls have already been drawn. Okay, so now I have line 2 and line 3, which are the inner walls. They are not extruded yet, So I don't need to combine these two inner walls, so I'll just extrude them individually. And for the inner walls, because this is the first floor toilet, I'll just extrude them to 2700 mm. Okay, same for line 3 as well. So once you're done with the extrusion, we can unhide these 3 lines, and we can now see that this is what we have right now. Okay, so now we're going to use the connect and bridge tool to kind of like cover up this gap here. Okay, and we want to close up the gap between the outer walls, the left and right wall. So we know that and kind of like leave a space for the door. So we know that a typical door is usually 2050 mm by 900 mm, and we know from our CAD drawing that this gap here is already about 900 mm. So we just need to kind of like make sure that we know the height of 2050 mm and then close the gap above. So what we can do is we can just draw a box, okay, to simulate a door right now, because we don't have a model of a door. And the box probably is let's just draw first. Okay, it's probably about 10 mm in length, 900 mm in width, and about 2050 mm in height. So this will simulate a door with a door frame. Okay, and we want to move this door into the gap here, so that later when we try and connect these two walls, we can know where the 2050 mark is. Okay, so let's use a top view, okay, to move that so-called door. Okay, so it's slightly the gap is slightly smaller than 900 mm, but I think it's okay. It should pretty much be invisible. So let's use a front view, okay, or you can press F to make sure that the door is actually flush with the wall. Okay, which is so now we can be sure that this particular area here, this gap should be covered, while this should be left empty, so that we can put a door there. So how do we do that? Let's continue in the next video. So to use the connect and bridge tool, is easier to use the wireframe mode. So let's change it from shaded to wireframe. And I also want to hide all the things that are unnecessary at the moment. So line 2, 3 and layer 0, I will hide selection. Okay, so I only have the box and line 1. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to highlight the walls and change it into an editable poly. Okay, so and then what I want to do is that I want to highlight these 2 lines, okay, that is adjacent to the door, and I want to use the connect function so that it creates a horizontal line across, and I want to make this horizontal line flush with the door. So what we can do is to move this downwards. Okay, of course now if you have snapping tool, it probably will be easier to snap as well. So let's snap it here. Okay, so now we can see that the horizontal line is actually flush with the door, and we can do the same as well for the other side. Okay, so we use connect and then move it to snap to the door. Okay, so you can be sure that these are all in one line. Okay, next what we will do is we want to highlight the face, okay, these 2 faces. So we change this to a polygon. Okay, left click here and also left click on here, press Ctrl and left click, so that both these faces are actually highlighted, and then we'll use the bridge to create a to bridge the space. So what will happen now is that if we switch it back to the shaded mode, okay, and we hide the box, you'll see that this is now a wall with a cutout for the door. So it's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. So now we're going to continue to do the same thing. We want to bridge the gap for the inner wall. So I just keep line 2, line 3 in the box. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to change line 2 into an editable poly. Then I'm going to choose the line, and then I'm going to choose connect. Okay, and it's probably easier if I use the front view, and then again it's not moving. Let's just make sure I'm snapping it to this. Okay, so this is flush with the door now. Let's continue. So now that we have this space here, what we're going to do is, instead of using the bridge like what we did with the outer walls, because there's no other side of the face to do the bridging, we're just going to highlight this face, and then we're going to kind of extrude it to touch this wall. So what we do is we choose the polygon and highlight this face, and then we can extrude. Okay, there should be an extrude somewhere here. Extrude. Okay, so what we can then do is use the top view, okay, and press W to change it into move. Okay, and then again we can snap this to the vertex. Okay, so this will be snapped nicely to the other wall, and we will have a pretty nice wall, the inner and outer wall with the cutout for the door. Okay, let's just hide this box. Okay, so by the end of this tutorial, you should be able to get this in. Okay, so I'll see you in the next tutorial. Thank you. So before we end, I just want to share a bit more on how you can support the channel. So first of all the PowerPoint files that we use in this tutorial, you can download it. So when you download the PowerPoint files and any project files that we give to the channel through Gumroad, your email will be captured by us. So we will send some marketing materials in the future if you allow us to do so. Of course, you can choose to opt out, but this will help us in our marketing efforts. Of course, the final UE4 project file, it will be for sale as well. So if it is priced at a usual tutorial cost fee, but this is absolutely not compulsory. So if you feel you want to support the channel, you can get the UE4 project file for a price. So all these links, as we are preparing for the YouTube videos, we will slowly add all these files into our Gumroad page. So some are not ready yet, some are already can be downloaded. So you can refer to the YouTube description for the links to where to download these project files. And also, I just want to share with you the way to contact us. We have a YouTube channel. You can contact us directly through email, and of course, the easiest way to find us actually is through our Facebook channel. You can directly message us. So these are the links to where you can contact us if you have any questions, you need any help. Feel free to just look for us. Of course, if you can, remember to subscribe to our channel and click on the notification button, so when we post a new video, you'll be notified. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next lesson.